Question 1. All unsafe working practices should be reported immediately. Whose responsibility is it to report unsafe working practices? A. Your supervisor only. B. Only the site manager can do this. C. Only a health and safety rep can do this. D. It's everyone's responsibility to report unsafe working practices. Question 1. Answer: D. It's everyone's responsibility to report unsafe working practices. Question 2. What should you do if you're unsure about a particular topic discussed during a site induction? A. Ask a colleague to clarify. B. Meet with the presenter at the end of the day to discuss it. C. Ask the presenter to explain further. D. Ask your health and safety rep to explain at your next break. Question 2. Answer: C. Ask the presenter to explain further. Question 3. Prohibition notices are given to equipment that A. Only supervisors can use. B. Only managers can use. C. Only skilled workers can use. D. Should not be used until it's made safe. Question 3. Answer: D. Should not be used until it's made safe. Question 4. While carrying out the task you realize that another contractor's work is putting your safety at risk. What should you do? A. Approach the contractor and have a chat about the situation. B. Speak to your supervisor concerning the matter. C. Speak to the contractor's supervisors concerning the matter. D. Carry on working but keep a close eye on what's going on around you. Question 4. Answer: B. Speak to your supervisor concerning the matter. Question 5. As an employee, it's your responsibility to do all the following except choose 2 answers. A. Raise concerns about safety issues. B. Write your own risk assessments. C. Report unsafe working practices. D. Provide your own PPE. Question 5. Answer: B. Write your own risk assessments. D. Provide your own PPE. Question 6. In the event of an accident, a first aider can do all the following except A. Perform CPR. B. Bandage your cuts or wounds. C. Move you while you're unconscious. D. Prescribe and give you medicines to help you recover. Question 6. Answer: D. Prescribe and give you medicines to help you recover. Question 7. Which of these does not belong in the fire triangle? A. Fuel. B. Oxygen. C. Source of ignition. D. CO2. Question 7. Answer: D. CO2. Question 8. When using fire extinguishers, the term pass stands for underscore. A. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. B. Point, aim, squeeze, sweep. C. Pull, aim, squeeze, smother. D. Point, aim, squeeze, smother. Question 8. Answer: A. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Question 9. What should you do if you have no hearing protection and someone is using very noisy equipment near you? A. Work quickly, then move away from that area. B. Leave the area immediately and get the right hearing protection for your situation. C. Ask the person to wait until you leave to use it. D. Carry on working and just try to ignore the noise. Question 9. Answer: B. Leave the area immediately and get the right hearing protection for your situation. Question 10. Who can use a Class 3 ladder to carry out work on a building site? A. Only a supervisor can use a Class 3 ladder on site. B. Anyone can use a Class 3 ladder on site. C. Class 3 ladders should not be used on site. D. Only a trained worker can use a Class 3 ladder on site. Question 10. Answer: C. Class 3 ladders should not be used on site. Question 1. A permit to work allows A. Untrained people to work without supervision. B. Health and safety executive inspectors to visit the site. C. The emergency services to come onto the site after an accident. D. Certain jobs to be carried out under controlled conditions. Question 1. Answer: D. Certain jobs to be carried out under controlled conditions. Question 2. You are about to start a job. How will you know if it needs a permit to work? A. You do not need to know. Permits to work only affect managers. B. The health and safety executive will tell you. C. You will be given a permit to work at the site induction. D. You will not be allowed to start work until the permit to work has been issued. Question 2. Answer: D. You will not be allowed to start work until the permit to work has been issued. Question 3. Which type of accident kills most construction workers? A. Contact with electricity. B. Being run over by site transport. C. Falling from a height. D. Being hit by a falling object. Question 3. Answer: C. Falling from a height. Question 4. You can help prevent accidents by A. Becoming a first aider. B. Reporting unsafe working conditions. C. Knowing how to get help quickly. D. Know where the first aid is kept. Question 4. Answer: B. Reporting unsafe working conditions. Question 5. Which of these could be confused with the early signs of Weil's disease? A. Diabetes. B. Influenza. C. Dermatitis. D. Hay fever. Question 5. Answer: B. Influenza. Question 6. You find pigeon droppings and a nest in the area where you are about to start work. What should you do? A. Let them fly away before carrying on with your work. B. Seek advice from someone and stop working. C. Try to catch the pigeons. D. Carry on with your work carefully. Question 6. Answer: B. Seek advice from someone and stop working. Question 7. There are many kinds of dust at work. Breathing them for a long time can cause A. Glue ear. B. Skin cancer. C. Occupational asthma. D. Occupational dermatitis. Question 7. Answer: C. Occupational asthma. Question 8. You need to move a load that is heavier on one side than the other. How should you pick this up? A. With the heavy side on your strong arm. B. With the heavy side towards you. C. With the heavy side away from you. D. With the heavy side on your weak arm. Question 8. Answer: B. With the heavy side towards you. Question 9. You need to move a load that might be too heavy for you. What should you do? A. Get someone to help you. B. Use an aid, such as a trolley or wheelbarrow. C. Divide the load into smaller loads if possible. D. All of the above. Question 9. Answer: D. All of the above. Question 10. You have been shown how you should be lifting a heavy load. After some thought you think you have a better way. How should you proceed? A. Forget your idea and do it the way you have been told. B. Ask your workmates to decide which way you should do it. C. Ignore what you have been told and do it your way. D. Discuss your idea with your supervisor. Question 10. Answer: D. Discuss your idea with your supervisor. Question 11. When you climb a ladder, you must A. Have 2 points of contact with the ladder at all times. B. Have 2 people on the ladder at all times. C. Have 3 points of contact with the ladder at all times. D. Use a safety harness. Question 11. Answer: C. Have 3 points of contact with the ladder at all times. Question 12. Tools and materials can easily fall from a scaffold platform. What is the best way to protect the people below? A. Tell them you will be working above. B. Make sure they are wearing safety helmets. C. Tell the people below to stop work and clear the area. D. Use brick guards to stop any items falling below. Question 12. Answer D. Use brick guards to stop any items falling below. Question 13. You have been given disposable earplugs to use, but they keep falling out. What should you do? A. Stop work until you get more suitable one and are shown how to fit them. B. Put rolled up tissue in each ear. C. Throw them away and work without them. D. Put 2 earplugs in each ear so they stay in place. Question 13. Answer A. Stop work until you get more suitable one and are shown how to fit them. Question 14. You need to wear a full body harness. You have never used one before. What should you do? A. Try to work it out for yourself. B. Read the instruction book. C. Ask someone already wearing a harness to show you what to do. D. Ask for expert advice and training. Question 14. Answer D. Ask for expert advice and training. Question 15. If you want to be a first aider, you should A. Buy a book on first aid and start treating people. B. Watch a first aider treating people, then try it yourself. C. Ask if you can do a first aider's course. D. Speak to your doctor about it. Question 15. Answer C. Ask if you can do a first aider's course. Question 16. If someone falls and is knocked unconscious, what should you do? A. Give them mouth-to-mouth resuscitations. B. Slap their face to wake them up. C. Turn them over so they are lying on their back. D. Send for medical help. Question 16. Answer D. Send for medical help. Question 1. Which of the following would DH40 relate to? A. The safest way to put out a fire. B. Safest way to store tools. C. Workplace exposure limits. D. The correct way to report an accident. Question 1. Answer C. Workplace exposure limits. Question 2. Which of the following are the best fire extinguishers to use on electrical fires? Select 2 answers. A. Water. B. Foam. C. Wet chemical. D. CO2. E. Dry powder. Question 2. Answer D. CO2. E. Dry powder. Question 3. You have seen a close call accident and the coworker that was involved is worried about getting told off. You should A. Talk to him and make sure they are more careful. B. No matter what, you will have to report it. C. They seemed okay, so forget about it. D. Take them to your supervisor. Question 3. Answer B. No matter what, you will have to report it. Question 4. With heavy loads, you should A. Drag it across the floor. B. Move in lighter, safer loads. C. Carry it on your shoulders. D. Be left until someone can help. Question 4. Answer B. Move in lighter, safer loads. Question 5. Why is the risk assessment so important? A. It will tell you the person in charge of the health and safety on the site. B. It will be used to delegate jobs to the workers. C. It will tell you where the tools are stored. D. It will tell you the safe way of doing a task. Question 5. Answer D. It will tell you the safe way of doing a task. Question 6. Which of these would be involved in a Class B fire? Please select 2 answers. A. Cooking oil. B. Propane. C. Kerosene. D. Gasoline. Question 6 answer, C. Kerosene. D. Gasoline. Question 7. What is leptospirosis caused by? A. Ants. B. Rats and/or livestock urinating in water or soil. C. Mosquitoes. D. Dead fish in water. Question 7 answer, B. Rats and/or livestock urinating in water or soil. Question 8. What color are exit signs? A. Green. B. Blue. C. Red. D. Yellow. Question 8 answer, A. Green. Question 9. Asbestos will only affect women and men and not children, true or false? A. True. B. False. Question 9 answer, B. False. Question 10. Which of the following does RIDDOR stand for? A. Reporting of Injuries, Diseases and Dangerous Occurrences Regulations. B. Reporting of Injuries, Deaths and Dangerous Occurrences Regulations. C. Reporting of Injuries, Destruction and Dangerous Occurrences Regulations. D. Reporting of Injuries, Diseases and Deadly Occurrences Regulations. Question 10 answer, A. Reporting of Injuries, Diseases and Dangerous Occurrences Regulations. Question 11. After you have raised the fire alarm, what should you do next? A. You should hide under a desk. B. Look for your supervisor so you can inform them of the situation. C. Look for your coworker and get them out the building. D. Leave immediately. Question 11 answer, D. Leave immediately. The health and safety sign below is used to indicate A. Fire hose location. B. Fire assembly location. C. Fire extinguisher location. D. Fire alarm point. Question 1 answer, D. Fire alarm point. Question 2. What should you do if you discover a child wandering around on a construction site? A. Escort the child to safety immediately. B. Just ignore it as it's not your problem. C. Find your supervisor and report it. D. Find your site manager and report it. Question 2 answer, A. Escort the child to safety immediately. Question 3. What does the health and safety sign below mean? A. Dangerous to the environment. B. Hot liquid. C. Corrosive. D. Irritant. Question 3 answer, C. Corrosive. Question 4. What does the health and safety sign below mean? A. Dangerous to the environment. B. No fishing in this area. C. Do not dump refuse here. D. Protected wildlife area. Question 4 answer, A. Dangerous to the environment. Question 5. If high visibility clothing is needed to carry out your work, who should provide this? A. Your employer needs to provide it, then have the cost deducted from your wages. B. Your local job center will provide this. C. Your employer needs to provide this. D. You need to buy your own. Question 5 answer, C. Your employer needs to provide this. Question 6. To help prevent injuries caused by manual handling, you should do all the following except A. Learn proper lifting and carrying techniques. B. Use lifting equipment. C. Disperse your items into smaller loads. D. Carry as much items as possible to get the task completed faster. Question 6 answer, D. Carry as much items as possible to get the task completed faster. Question 7. Class B fires are fires involving all of the following except. Choose 2 answers. A. Kerosene. B. Propane. C. Gasoline. D. Cooking oil. Question 7. Answer: B. Propane. D. Cooking oil. Question 8. Which class of fire does magnesium and aluminum materials fall under? A. Class D. B. Class B. C. Class A. D. Class F. Question 8. Answer: A. Class D. Question 9. Which of these two types of fire extinguishers are most suitable for use on electrical fires? Choose two answers. A. Water. B. Foam. C. Wet chemical. D. CO2. E. Dry powder. Question 9. Answer: D. CO2. E. Dry powder. Question 10. In the event of a fire, you should do all the following except: A. Exit the building immediately using the nearest lift. B. Call the fire brigade. C. Operate the nearest fire alarm. D. Tickle the fire if safe and trained to do so. Question 10. Answer: A. Exit the building immediately using the nearest lift. What should you do if you need to store materials on a flat roof but you cannot fit edge protection? Choose three answers. A. You must ensure that the materials are stored in such a way that they cannot fall. B. You must ensure that you install a cantilever safety net below the roof edge. C. You must ensure that the materials do not endanger your colleagues or others in that area. D. You must ensure that you and your colleagues can have safe access to the stored materials. Question 1. Answer: A. You must ensure that the materials are stored in such a way that they cannot fall. C. You must ensure that the materials do not endanger your colleagues or others in that area. D. You must ensure that you and your colleagues can have safe access to the stored materials. Question 2. What should you do if you need to use a safety lanyard but the stitching is damaged? A. Dispose of it and carry on working without one. B. Continue using the lanyard only if the damaged stitching is less than 4 inches. C. Ask for a replacement and do not start working until you have a suitable replacement. D. Continue to use the lanyard and get another one at the end of your shift. Question 2. Answer: C. Ask for a replacement and do not start working until you have a suitable replacement. Question 3. If you are using inflatable airbags as a means of fall arrest, you must ensure that the inflation pump, A. is electrically powered. B. is turned off every couple of minutes to avoid the airbags from overinflation. C. is turned off as soon as the airbags are full. D. stays on at all times when there's work being carried out at height. Question 3. Answer: D. stays on at all times when there's work being carried out at height. Question 4. What is edge protection designed to do? A. It's designed to stop materials and people from falling over. B. It's designed to direct rainwater into a specific area. C. It's designed to allow easier access to the roof. D. It's designed to stop unauthorized entry to the roof. Question 4. Answer: A. It's designed to stop materials and people from falling over. Question 5. What is the maximum permitted gap between the guardrails on a working platform? A. 300 mm. B. 470 mm. C. 500 mm. D. 520 mm. Question 5. Answer: B. 470 mm. Question 6. How should you wear your safety helmet if you need to lean over an exposed edge while working at height? A. You should tilt your helmet backwards, which should prevent it from falling over. B. You should tilt your helmet to the side, which will help to prevent it from falling over. C. You should ensure you make use of the chin strap and wear the helmet as normal. D. You should not wear your helmet while carrying out these tasks. Question 6. Answer C. You should ensure you make use of the chin strap and wear the helmet as normal. Question 7. What should you do if you discover a rung missing near the top of the ladder you're about to use? A. Use the ladder but make sure you're very careful when going over the missing rung. B. Stop using the ladder and report the defect immediately. C. Flip the ladder so the missing rung stays closer to the ground. D. Use the ladder but make sure a colleague holds the ladder while you're on it. Question 7. Answer B. Stop using the ladder and report the defect immediately. Question 8. Guardrails are essential for safety while working at height. These should be fitted to a working platform when A. There's a possibility you could fall 5 meters. B. These should only be fitted if you need to store materials on the working platform. C. There's a possibility of you getting injured if you fall. D. There's a possibility you could fall 10 meters. Question 8. Answer C. There's a possibility of you getting injured if you fall. Question 9. Using the Beaufort scale is vital for your safety while working at height externally because it measures A. How much weight you can store safely on a roof. B. How much weight you can store safely on a scaffold. C. How many people can be on a roof at the same time. D. The wind speed. Question 9. Answer D. The wind speed. Question 10. What are Class 3 ladders? A. Class 3 ladders are ladders which are designed for use in industrial and construction environments only. B. Class 3 ladders should not be used on-site as they're designed for domestic purposes. C. Class 3 ladders should only be used by trained workers on-site. D. Class 3 ladders are the recommended choice for working near overhead cables. Question 10. Answer B. Class 3 ladders should not be used on-site as they're designed for domestic purposes. Question 11. Who should erect and dismantle a scaffold tower? A. Anyone who has worked on a scaffold tower before can do this. B. Only trained, competent and authorized people should carry out these tasks. C. Anyone with the instruction book in their possession can carry out these tasks. D. Anyone who has witnessed these tasks being carried out can perform them as well. Question 11. Answer B. Only trained, competent and authorized people should carry out these tasks. Question 1. How many employees does a company need before risk assessments are recorded? A. Between 5-10. B. Between 10-20. C. 5 or more. D. Just 1 is needed. Question 1. Answer C. 5 or more. Question 2. Which of these best describes a hazard? A. Something that is potentially harmful. B. Tools lying around on the floor. C. Cables lying around on the floor. D. Unlabeled chemicals. Question 2. Answer A. Something that is potentially harmful. Question 3. What is the cause of most accidents? A. Poisoning. B. Slips, trips and falls. C. Electrocution. D. Suffocation. Question 3. Answer B. Slips, trips and falls. Question 4. In which year was the Health and Safety at Work Act enacted? A. 1947. B. 1974. C. 1957. D. 1975. Question 4. Answer B. 1974. Question 5. Where would you go if your fire alarm was activated? A. Your manager's office. B. The fire assembly point. C. Go to your car and wait. D. Exit the building and go home. Question 5 answer, B. The fire assembly point. Question 6. What chemical fire extinguishers are identified by which color? A. Red. B. Black. C. Cream. D. Yellow. Question 6 answer, D. Yellow. Question 7. The safest way to lift a load is to A. Keep your back rounded at all times. B. Keep your back straight at all times. C. Keep your feet as close as possible. D. Keep your feet slightly apart with your back rounded. Question 7 answer, B. Keep your back straight at all times. Question 8. Electrical fires are best tackled with A. Water fire extinguisher. B. CO2 fire extinguisher. C. Wet chemical fire extinguisher. D. Foam fire extinguisher. Question 8 answer, B. CO2 fire extinguisher. Question 9. Who should report unsafe working practices at work? A. Your supervisor only. B. Your health and safety rep only. C. Anyone who notices it. D. Your line manager only. Question 9 answer, C. Anyone who notices it. Question 1. All of the following statements are true about using podium steps except A. You must ensure the wheels are locked before getting on. B. Podiums are 100% safe and cannot topple over. C. Like all other equipment, podiums must be inspected regularly. D. Podiums can topple over, so you must take care when reaching sideways. Question 1 answer, B. Podiums are 100% safe and cannot topple over. Question 2. What is the leading cause of death among construction workers? A. Being hit by vehicles on site. B. Leptospirosis. C. Falling from height. D. Electrocution. Question 2 answer, C. Falling from height. Question 3. Which of these statements is true about using ladders? A. Only one person should work on a ladder. B. Two people can work on the same ladder if it is long enough. C. Two people can work on the same ladder if the supervisor approves. D. Two people can work on the same ladder only if someone else holds the ladder. Question 3 answer, A. Only one person should work on a ladder. Question 4. What should you do if the ladder you're about to use is damaged? A. Carry on using the ladder but stay away from the damaged section. B. Try to fix the ladder yourself. C. Put the ladder in a corner and leave it there. D. Stop using it, report it, and let your colleagues know the ladder is not safe. Question 4 answer, D. Stop using it, report it, and let your colleagues know the ladder is not safe. Question 5. What should you do if you need to use a mobile tower scaffold but the wheel brakes aren't working? A. Ask a colleague to hold the tower while you work. B. Carry on using it only if the floor is level. C. Use a rock or a piece of wood to wedge the wheels and stop them from moving. D. Do not use it. Question 5 answer, D. Do not use it. Question 6. Ladders should never be painted because A. The paint causes the ladder to become slippery. B. The paint can hide or mask damaged parts of the ladder. C. You will need to repaint the ladder regularly. D. The paint could cause a distraction to the person using the ladder. Question 6 answer, B. The paint can hide or mask damaged parts of the ladder. Question 7. Which of these statements is true about storing materials on a working platform? A. Unsecured materials can be stored as long as they are above the guardrail height. B. The materials only need securing if it's going to be there overnight. C. The materials don't need to be secured if they're going to be there less than 6 hours. D. You must ensure the platform can take the weight of the materials and the materials must be stored securely so they can't fall. Question 7. Answer, D. You must ensure the platform can take the weight of the materials and the materials must be stored securely so they can't fall. Question 8. The best way to ensure a ladder is secured and won't slip is to A. Tie it at the bottom. B. Tie it at the top. C. Have a colleague hold it while you work. D. Use a piece of wood to wedge the bottom. Question 8. Answer, B. Tie it at the top. Question 9. Which of these best describes working at height? A. 5 meters above the ground. B. 6 meters above the ground. C. 10 meters above the ground. D. Any height above or below ground level that can cause an injury if you fall. Question 9. Answer, D. Any height above or below ground level that can cause an injury if you fall. Question 10. How many points of contact should you have with a ladder at all times? A. 4. B. 1. C. 3. D. 2. Question 10. Answer, C. 3. Question 11. Which of these would you not put a mobile tower scaffold on? A. An abandoned parking lot. B. A concrete walkway. C. An uneven playground. D. An asphalt road. Question 11. Answer, C. An uneven playground. Question 12. Checking a ladder before use should be done by A. Your supervisor. B. Your health and safety rep. C. The person about to use it. D. The site manager. Question 12. Answer, C. The person about to use it. Question 1. Over time, excess noise can damage your ability to hear. Can such a condition be reversed? A. Yes, but you will be forced to change your current job. B. With time, the condition may repair itself. C. The damage is permanent and cannot be reversed. D. You will need surgery to repair your hearing loss. Question 1. Answer, C. The damage is permanent and cannot be reversed. Question 2. You have just finished working with a particularly noisy piece of equipment and you have a ringing in your ears. What does this symptom imply? A. Your body has been exposed to excess vibration. B. You may be coming down with the flu or respiratory infection. C. The level of noise was high, but it was still safe. D. You've temporarily damaged your hearing. Question 2. Answer, D. You've temporarily damaged your hearing. Question 3. Over time, excess noise can damage your hearing. Which of these is an early sign of this? A. Infections of the inner ear. B. There are no early signs. C. A rash may appear around the outside of your ear. D. A ringing sound or even a temporary hearing loss may occur. Question 3. Answer, D. A ringing sound or even a temporary hearing loss may occur. Question 4. Give 2 separate answers as to how excess noise can affect your health. A. Loss of hearing. B. Constant ear infections. C. An excess buildup of wax in your ears. D. Persistent headaches. E. A condition known as vibration white finger. Question 4. Answers. A. Loss of hearing. D. Persistent headaches. Question 5. You believe that excess noise at the job site has damaged your hearing. What do you need to do? A. Take a few sick days and rest. B. Have your doctor or employer arrange a hearing test for you. C. Place cotton wads in your ears to prevent any future damage. D. There is nothing that you can do. The damage is permanent and cannot be undone. Question 5 answer, B. Have your doctor or employer arrange a hearing test for you. Question 6. You find yourself on the job site next to a coworker who is using a loud piece of machinery. You are wearing no hearing protection. What do you need to do? A. Immediately stop and speak with the supervisor of your coworker. B. Continue working, as the job site will always be noisy. C. Tell the worker to stop what they are doing. D. Leave the area until you have secured the correct personal protective equipment, PPE. Question 6 answer, D. Leave the area until you have secured the correct personal protective equipment, PPE. Question 7. It is a general rule that noise levels may be excessive if you must shout to speak to someone. How far away? A. 6 meters. B. 4 meters. C. 5 meters. D. 2 meters. Question 7 answer, D. 2 meters. Question 8. Your job requires you to wear ear defenders while on site. However, one of the pads is missing. What should you do? A. Use a piece of cloth and wrap it around the shell while continuing to work. B. Wear them as they are and continue working. C. Do not wear them. Work without hearing protection. D. Wait until the pad is replaced before entering into a noisy area. Question 8 answer, D. Wait until the pad is replaced before entering into a noisy area. Question 9. When working in a hearing protection zone, you must, A. Use hearing protection when the noises are too loud to stand. B. Be careful not to make excess noise. C. Wear the appropriate hearing protection at all times. D. Have adequate hearing protection in case you need it. Question 9 answer, C. Wear the appropriate hearing protection at all times. Question 10. By wearing hearing protection you will, A. Eliminate all possibilities of being exposed to excess noise levels. B. Reduce the amount of noise you're exposed to. C. Improve your hearing. D. Reverse any previous hearing problems. Question 10 answer, B. Reduce the amount of noise you're exposed to. Question 1. When does your employer need to provide a first aid box? A. When the total number of employees exceeds 10. B. When the total number of employees exceeds 35. C. Every site should be equipped with a first aid box regardless of the number of employees. D. First aid boxes are provided at the company's discretion and are not compulsory. Question 1 answer, C. Every site should be equipped with a first aid box regardless of the number of employees. Question 2. Protective midsoles on your footwear are used to A. Increase comfort throughout the day. B. Support your ankles and prevent them from twisting. C. Protect your feet from falling objects. D. Protect your feet if you step on nails and other sharp objects. Question 2 answer, D. Protect your feet if you step on nails and other sharp objects. Question 3. Why are site inductions important? A. The worksite health and safety rules are discussed during the site induction. B. It gives you the opportunity to formally meet your colleagues. C. It allows you to have a look around at the work site. D. It gives you the opportunity to meet the site manager and supervisors. Question 3 answer, A. The worksite health and safety rules are discussed during the site induction. Question 4. Class 3 ladders are suitable for A. Heavy-duty and industrial purposes. B. Domestic use. C. Both industrial and domestic purposes. D. Building site purposes. Question 4 answer, B. Domestic use. Question 5. When working in a hearing protection zone you must A. Be as quiet as possible. B. Not use any loud equipment or machinery. C. Ensure you wear hearing protection. D. Work as fast as possible and then leave in order to reduce the noise level. Question 5. Answer C. Ensure you wear hearing protection. Question 6. What should you do if you notice a safety hazard that no one else seems to notice? A. Stay away from that area. B. Report it to your supervisor immediately. C. Keep on working and report it at the end of your shift. D. Report it to your colleagues and tell them to stay away from that area. Question 6. Answer B. Report it to your supervisor immediately. Question 7. Why is it important to sign in whenever you are on site? A. To ensure you're working your correct hours. B. To ensure you're accounted for in the event of an evacuation. C. The HSE needs records of your working hours. D. Signing in is optional and not compulsory. Question 7. Answer B. To ensure you're accounted for in the event of an evacuation. Question 8. Which of these fire extinguishers are most suitable for use on electrical fires? A. CO2 and dry powder. B. CO2 and water. C. CO2 and foam. D. Foam and dry powder. Question 8. Answer A. CO2 and dry powder.